And you can do this by how you deal with them, how you listen, how you provide for them, how you lead by example. So this is where those inspiration comes from. A lot of it have to do with communication, communicating what needs to be done in the appropriate way and manner, training the trainers to do the same, training the middle and entry level managers to do the same, so that that effective communication will move top down, and then active listening bottom up, so that they will feel heard, they will feel that the organization cares about them.
Well, I love that communication is the foundation. And I love that you mentioned nonverbal communication. And that's always something that I felt was a really good partnership with hospitality programs that have an apparel program. Because in apparel studies or fashion studies, there's a whole segment on nonverbal communication that scholars are researching and teaching. And so how is that nonverbal communication taught within hospitality programs?
That's a good question. I won't speak for many institutions, but I will speak for my institution. And I will speak for myself as a faculty. So I teach a course in career and leadership development. And in that course, I start the course with effective communication in the hospitality and tourism industry. Effective communication. And during this module of effective communication, I made it my responsibility to incorporate verbal and non-verbal communication styles.
Yeah.
And I turned this to something beyond just communication. I took it to physiology level. And what do I mean by that? You see, and this is something that many people should be very mindful of. Smile kind of stimulate physiological reaction in anyone that sees you smile. So when you smile and people see that, immediately their eyes communicate to their brain that this person likes something about me. I am welcome
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And then your brain will say, continue, move closer, smile back, say hi. Your brain will tell you something to do in return.
Mhm.
And that already shows some sign of welcoming, which is the essence of hospitality. So then you have to compare that to you walking into an organization where the first person you see look at you frowning. In fact, stay away, just doesn't want to see you. Maybe you are coming, immediately you see them, they move their face away, they move their eyes away. Again, the brain is communicating. Their eyes is sending message to the brain, telling the brain that, what is wrong? What did you do wrong? Why is this person moving away? So these are physiological reactions that are stimulated by our non-verbal reactions. And these physiological reactions are what determine that first impression that will be stamped in our brain for good impression or bad first impression. So when I teach this course, I took it further. It's not just what we want to say or how we say it. It's giving them something that they will remember. I so often use hot kettle as a good example to a non-verbal communication. I said, how many of you have touched a hot kettle before? When you touch hot kettle, what do you do? Do you keep holding it or do you leave it? Then I ask them, why did you leave it? Oh, because it's hot. How do you know it's hot? Many of them will stop. They don't know what to say because they know it's hot. But I tell them it is because your fingers, your body contains synapses that transfer message to your brain to tell you that it's hot, and immediately your brain will say, drop it. That's why you don't hold that head hot kettle anymore. It's the same with nonverbal communication. When you smile, you make the people around you feel welcome. And on the other hand, we also have to be mindful of our body language, because there are many ways we can speak that could be either too aggressive because of the way we move our body, or that we show some negative feedback or communicate the wrong information. So all of these nonverbal um, communication that we are very concerned about in hospitality to provide a welcoming environment.
Well, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a little bit because I really do feel that programs that have apparel and hospitality are missing an opportunity of collaborating together because uh, everything that you said is being studied also in apparel programs. And so coming together and having those discussions and having trainings. In one of my leadership positions, we did trainings for our main office and trying to change the culture to be a little bit more welcoming. So when someone would come in, we had staff and student workers that would sometimes would greet the person. And so trying to make that normalized, that you would recognize a student or a faculty or a parent that came into the main office, recognize them and say hi and smile and stand up and smile and greet them, to be positive. And so we did spend quite a bit of time, role playing and trying to work that through to, but I feel like there's just so many opportunities for scholars in both areas to discuss the nonverbal. And I think
Yes.
sometimes the thought is that, the fashion people are just thinking about the clothing, but we have frameworks and models that are talking about the body, the nonverbal, which includes, smiling, body movements, posture, all of
Yes.
those things. And so, yeah.
Good. I agree.
You agree? Okay. Thank you for being on the soapbox with me. And so, also what you're talking about too leads to service and you mentioned being a servant leader and services within hospitality management. And um, what is the core of service? Just in the world and leadership and especially hospitality.
Yes. Thank you. That's wonderful question. I've done some workshop on service before, many times, and over 3 dozens of workshops. I try to enlighten people about the difference between customer service on one hand and hospitality service on the other hand. If you practice hospitality service the way it's meant to be practiced, to me, I still regard it as the epitome of service worldwide, the highest level of service worldwide. And for you to be able to provide the highest level of service, which is what hospitality is about, there are certain guiding principles, some dimensions of what I call hospitality intelligence that we need to have, we need to know, we need to bear in mind when we're giving that service. One of them we've already talked about is wonderful acknowledgement. How do you acknowledge your guest when they are walking to your facility? So, and that include both non-verbal communication and verbal communication. So, do you smile when they approach you? Do you greet when they approach you? All of these seems simple,